Hey guys, Tyler here. So I decided to try to put together a little short cooking video for you for a little bit of a change from all the other random stuff that I do. I guess it's not really a change from the random stuff I do. I hope you'll forgive any glimpses of the messy kitchen that you catch in the background. But what I'm going to do is make some homemade French fries and fried chicken real quick. So what I just did, I thought about doing this after I already started. So I took a potato and sliced it, obviously, and now I'm gonna just cut this into French fry size pieces. And you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a particular size or anything when you do this, but it does help if they're all uniform. You don't want some really big pieces and some really small pieces because they'll all cook at different speeds. And you do not want all your fries, like some burnt and some raw. So, alright, now what I have here is a regular frozen chicken breast. Now obviously I cut the potatoes up first because I'm going to cut raw chicken on the same cutting board now. And I don't want it to contaminate, or you don't want raw chicken contaminating the rest of your food, even though I'm going to cook everything, so it wouldn't really matter normally. You don't want just raw chicken juice all over your food as a rule. So, well, like you fight how you train, well, you also cook how you train. So I'm going to get all these chicken pieces in roughly similar sized shapes in there. Connect the tissue there. And then I'm just going to give them a light, not really going to tenderize them too much, because chicken's really easy to beat into a pulp. I just want to get them lightly tenderized. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to crack a couple eggs in here, and then, hold on a second. Oh, there we go. You just use a fork to whip them up really quick. This is actually probably way more egg than I need, but that's okay. And what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna egg wash this chicken and batter it. So you want to get it nicely whipped up and combined so that whites and the yellows are all mixed together. And if you notice, as you whip it, you'll get a different kind of texture out of it. If you get it whipped really well, it'll take on a frothy, almost like milky texture. That'll work. And then a little flour. Alright, so we got some flour. Put a little black pepper in there. A little salt. A little chili powder. And a little garlic powder. Mix that up. All right. So now I'm going to take the chicken, give it a good bath in the egg wash. And then hit it with a good coating of the flour. Now, a lot of people will, when they're doing fried chickens and stuff, will do like multiple coatings. Like they'll do a egg wash and then flour it, and then do like a buttermilk wash and then flour it again. Well, I'm lazy and I don't keep buttermilk on hand at the house, so I just hit mine with a single bath and an egg wash. And then dredge it in the flour really good. Trust me when I say you're going to need more flour than you think. Mostly because half of it's going to end up caked onto your fingers by the time you're done. Alright, now we move over to the stove here. And here's a tip for you. If you deep fry stuff a lot, you can reuse your oil that you use for deep frying if you just deep fry it on a pot on the stove. And what I do is just take a regular coffee filter. If I can get one out here. There we go. I'll put it down in the jar and then put a canning ring over it and pour, once the oil's cooled down, pour it down through the filter and back into the jar. You don't get to save all your oil, but you can save a lot of it. Obviously you'd lose some when you're frying. Alright, I apologize if there was any weirdness there. I accidentally put my pilot light out. So I had to stop and relight that, obviously. So you don't need a lot of oil. You're going to need less oil than you think you do, I guarantee it. You got to remember that oil expands when it gets hot. So put your oil on the stove, let it heat up, get it good and hot, and you go from there. There we go. So I'm going to let it cook until it's golden brown. And the reason I'm doing the chicken first is because I have my potatoes soaking in vinegar right now. To give them kind of a nice salty, vinegary flavor. Well, I'll salt them after they're done, obviously. But the vinegar will soak in while they're just sitting here and give them a vinegary flavor. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Now we're getting there. Alright, now I'm about to start pulling my chicken out. But I did want to point out that you can make it cook faster if you have something that you can lower down into it to push the chicken completely under the oil. If you don't, you're going to have to keep flipping it to make sure that it's cooking on both sides evenly, so that you don't have one side that's real brown and one side that's not brown. But I think mine's pretty good right now. You guys probably don't know this, but I used to work in restaurants. I know it's hard to believe that someone as refined and civilized as I am, working at the winery and everything, could ever have worked in a restaurant, but it's true, I did. I was a cook for a long time. So now, if you choose to go this route, and you soak your potatoes in vinegar, or in water, maybe you just soaked them in water because you wanted to, make sure they were well rinsed off and stayed fresh until you put them in the fryer. Do not dump this into that, because liquids other than grease react very violently. See what I just did? React very violently with grease. And it's very dangerous. Especially if you're like me and have a gas stove. Because if this grease boils over, then all of a sudden I've got a grease fire on my hand. That's not something you want. Alright, So now my potatoes are going. I'm going to fry them, and then I'm going to use these tongs to pull them out. And I have a strainer here with a paper towel on the bottom of it. And the reason for that is I don't want hot oil splashing all over the place. The reason for the strainer is that when I salt these, I want to salt them and toss them, and any excess grease will run off of them. And I never use recipes for anything that I cook. I don't use recipes for anything. I just wing everything. I think the only thing that I have recipes for is I have a steak marinade for when people want to marinate steaks. I don't like to marinate steaks myself. I like to rub them down with a little oil. Cracked garlic pepper. I use one of these bad boys. Cracked garlic pepper on the outside, rub it in. A little salt on the outside, rub it in. Just let that sit till let the steak sit out with that on it until it's room temperature, and then cook it. And it's good. Whether you grill it or sear it in a pan, either way, it's good stuff. And what you can do with these fries that's really good is the same. I put chili powder in the batter. If I hadn't put vinegar, if I hadn't soaked these in vinegar, I would make like Cajun fries. What I do for this is just make these fries and then toss them in salt, pepper, and chili powder. Delicious, man. Makes a delicious fry. They're real good. See, these are starting to brown up pretty good. I'm going to let them go a little bit longer. Alright, so there you go, guys. I went ahead and pulled the fries out and salted them off camera just because I was pulling fries out and salted them. It didn't seem that interesting. But that's how I make homemade fries and homemade chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, whatever you want to call them. And I've got a variety of sauces here. This is my condiment choices. This is my personal favorite. This is the Smoke and Fire hot sauce. My buddy Chuck makes this. You've heard me talk about him in other videos before. He makes his own hot sauce. This is $3 a bottle. If anybody's interested in trying a bottle, let me know. We'll work out a way to get you a bottle. It's good stuff. I eat it on pretty much everything. Unfortunately for Chuck, he told me that I could have it for free. So, yeah, he ends up losing a lot of money on his hot sauce. I got a little spicy brown mustard. That's always good on everything. A little bit of that, that Sweet Baby Ray's. What up, what up? That stuff's so good. Barbecue sauce. Regular yellow mustard if that's your thing. And, ketchup. Now, for me, I'm probably going to hot sauce the chicken. And I'll try out the fries and see if the vinegar came through enough in them. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how well the potato soaks up the vinegar. If the vinegar came through enough, I'm just going to eat them like this. And if not, I'll just eat them with yellow mustard and that'll be it. But there you go. That's a little bachelor cooking lesson for you. Alright guys, this is Tyler. Peace.